Well, soon after his inauguration, President Trump launched the White House Faith Office. Its mission is to empower faith-based groups and to protect religious liberty. Well, CBN's White House correspondent Kelly Wright recently spoke with the two people the president chose to lead the charge.
Paula White-Cain and Jenny Korn are on a mission for the Trump administration. In leading the White House Faith Office, they will engage with leaders from various religious backgrounds. When President Trump offered the opportunity, they both saw it as an offer they could not refuse.
I had the honor and a rare opportunity. I did this because I see my grandchildren. I just looked at your beautiful grandson. I should say handsome grandson. I have these beautiful grandchildren living next door to me. I've been blessed, 40 years of ministry. And I said I would be wrong and maybe even sin for me to miss the mark if I didn't fulfill this to try to make our nation what God established it to be and give the future an opportunity. Because without God and without faith, we are a lost people.
People may think, oh, well, in America, you still have all your religious liberties. But I can tell you thousands of stories of where people of faith have been discriminated against and where religion has been diminished by the government. So when we have the opportunity to come to the White House, the most amazing place as far as government goes for America, to be able to take on that mantle for other people of faith to make sure that religious liberty and religious freedom are alive and well in America, there's no way you can turn that down.
President Trump made it clear during his inaugural address that he believes America needs religion and faith in God. He followed that with an executive order establishing the White House Faith Office with the mission to assist faith-based entities in efforts to strengthen American families, promote work and self-sufficiency, plus protect religious liberty. That includes a force to address anti-Christian bias and acts of discrimination, such as the growth of anti-Semitism we've seen on college campuses. Attorney General Pam Bondi leads the task force and will work closely with the Faith Office.
You know, it will not be tolerated to spew hate and hurt to people by this administration. And if a person wants to peacefully protest, that's one thing. But this has not been peaceful. It has been hateful. It has been hurtful. And it will not be tolerated by this president or his administration. And our office enforces that very strongly. I've known Attorney General Pam Bondi for over 20 years. She's a close friend. I'm honored. She's very smart. She's very strong. She's a strong Christian, and I'm honored to work with her, and for Jenny to work with her, and for us to work with the Chief of Staff, with the President, and with all the agencies to make sure that there will be no bias, no discrimination, nothing hateful or hurtful against people.
In recent weeks, the Trump administration took action against pro-Hamas and pro-Palestinian protesters threatening Jewish students on the campus of Columbia University and Barnard College. The president also held Columbia leadership responsible, blocking $400 million in federal grants until they took action against the protest.
Just to add to that, too, it matters who the leaders are. Yeah. In the last 4 years, and those college presidents allowed Jewish students to feel afraid, to be tormented, to be discriminated against, to be spat at, to be, violence against them, and they allowed that to happen. President Trump comes in and he's like, that's not going to happen anymore. And so he's setting an example. A lot of it is who's at the top and who's setting that example.
Beyond America, the White House Faith Office will seek to fight persecution of Christians throughout numerous countries like Syria.
We're all trying to follow these, that 1 in 7 Christians around the world are persecuted. And so we know the hot spots, we know the places, and we're very on this and working diligently to make sure that our government works with other governments and does what is necessary.
The Faith Office invited numerous leaders to the White House to discuss issues and policies affecting faith communities nationwide. Some leaders have also met and prayed with the president in the Oval Office. When you talk to him, Does he take time out to pray?
Absolutely, often, or even without a briefing or a meeting. For me personally, a 24-year relationship, I'll just feel led to pray, and I'll say, "Can I pray for you, sir?" And he's now grown accustomed to laying hands on him and praying over him and praying the word.
White and Corn say the president has put faith offices throughout the departments of his entire administration. The main office operates in the West Wing of the White House. They say his goal is to see all Americans get beyond their differences, find common ground through the power of faith.
He's bringing everyone to the table, and that's the same thing with people of faith. It doesn't matter. We don't ask, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? When we have meetings here at the White House, we just want you to come in and have a voice. And the people who are rational thinking and want to get something done and work together for the better of America are meeting with us.
Paula White Cain and Jenny Corn say beyond their role as leaders of the White House Faith Office, they share a hope for America. That is, to truly understand that America was founded on the principles of God. They say the nation should never shy away from that. And they add, the government cannot dictate religion, but it's important to place value in the message that is inscribed in our money, which states, "In God we trust." In Washington, Kelly Wright, CBN News.
In God we need to trust. In these turbulent times, we need to turn to him in prayer. We've done that in our history. And let me underline, I'm not an advocate of theocracies. I don't think religious enforcement from a government ever works. Enforced religion is no religion at all. I do believe in a secular government, and that's what we have, and that's what we need to maintain. There needs to be no established religion in the United States of America. At the same time, there should be free exercise of religion and free exercise at every level of government, and government officials shouldn't be afraid of prayer. We need to be sure that God is our help and in our very present help in time of trouble. Look back at President Lincoln, who was a remarkable man and remarkable Christian. It was said of him he could take a tax code change and make it sound like a passage from the book of Genesis. He was thoroughly steeped in the Bible, and it comes through in all his speeches and how he stood so strong. He knew what was coming when he was elected president. And what did he do? Well, he humbled himself, and he went to all the state legislatures, all the states that had voted for him. He got no electoral votes from the South, but all the states that voted for him, he went to their state legislatures. He humbled himself, and he asked specifically, could you please pray for me? Could you please pray for our nation? And it's a curious phrase he used in the New Jersey legislature, that America is God's almost chosen people. Let's keep that in mind. But we're not in the Bible. We don't have the same status as the nation of Israel. But we do have status with him when we turn to him. If my people who are called by my name, so Christians, are we called by the name of Christ, will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, he will come and he will heal our land. That's a wonderful promise, and that's a promise Americans have depended on for generations. It's wonderful to see that renewed at the highest levels of our government. Now, if you think that somehow there's no discrimination against Christians in government, please think again, and I'll just point to one thing. Has an evangelical Christian been nominated for the Supreme Court over the last 40 years? And the answer is no. And the reason is there was no hope of them ever getting through the Senate and the confirmation process. That ought to say something, given the population of evangelicals in our nation, that we can't get one nominated to the Supreme Court. We can elect them to office, but there's obvious bias, and so let's call it for what it is. And let's do our part as Christians when we encounter this to point it out and to stand against it and say, no, we have the right of free exercise of our religion. We don't lose that right in elected office. We don't lose that right at the school board meeting. We don't lose that right ever. It's guaranteed under our Constitution. Let's stand for that and stand strong.